Hi guys. Today I am going to be going through all the books that I have read in 2022. So, let's get started. And Starlight, are you going to join us? Starlight, you going to join us? Okay. Number 1, this is the first book I read. Now, I don't have every single book that I have read this year, but I did read a lot. I think for 2023, I'm going to start doing it like how many books I read this many books in like each month. Like each month I'm going to go through the books that I've read. And Starlight is here. Hello, gorgeous. Okay, first book is Free Hope on the High Seas by Karina Campbell. Now, if you love historical fiction, this is an amazing book for you. You can get it on Amazon, I think you can get it on it. Yeah, you can get it on Amazon. She self-published it, and it is such a awesome book. Here, I'll read the back cover of it. 17-year-old Ruth is used to being independent and trusting God to provide for her needs, even with the little protection life in the 17th century provides her. When a strange turn of events lands her on a cargo ship with no immediate way off, what is Ruth to do? The sailors are rough and rowdy, but Ruth finds first mate Leonard particularly intimidating. What is hiding behind Captain Edward's passive nature? Will she ever be free? As the sailors face the trials of ocean travels, they realize their young servant holds a key to peace and happiness they don't have. A truth that can change their lives, but does Ruth have her heart open for the way in which God wants to change hers? Amid danger and personal sacrifices, Ruth encounters many ups and downs, but with her Bible by her side, hymns on her lips, and Jesus in her heart, Ruth discovers she has everything she needs for the journey, and maybe she already has everything she needs to be free. So, this is an amazing book. Highly recommend. Let me see. This is in no particular order of how I read them. I don't have every single book that I read this year, but I have most of them because some of them I just couldn't find. If you want to see every book that I have read this year, go to my Instagram. And I posted, like, after I read a book, I posted it onto my Instagram. So, okay, let's go through this series. So, I am addicted to the series. It is such an amazing series. It is by Sarah Milchowski. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I'm sorry if I am butchering her name. But it's about Abby and... Okay, this is Abby in Wonderland. It's the special edition one. It's about a little girl and her brother that have a magic mirror in their basement, and whenever they go into that mirror, they go into a different fairy tale, and sometimes they change the fairy tale for the better, and it is such a cool series. And this is one of them, Abby in Wonderland. Now, I've read Alice in Wonderland, and this book is so good. It's very accurate to the Alice in Wonderland, and I highly recommend it. And okay, this one is Sugar and Spice. This is Hansel and Gretel one, the Hansel and Gretel one. She mainly does Grimm's. Most of her stories have the Grimm's brothers. The Grimm's brothers fairy tales, and I love Grimm's brothers. However, they are very dark. She also Genie in a Bottle. This one is Aladdin and fairy tale. Princess and the Frog. It's the Once Upon a Frog. And this is such a cool series, and you will be hooked on it when you read them. Beauty Queen, this one is Beauty and the Beast. Cold Ice, this one is the Snow Queens. Fairy Tale. Bad Hair Day, this one is Rapunzel's. And Dream On, this one is Sleeping Beauty. So, okay, we're gonna put those aside. And we're gonna move on to another series. Little Women series. Okay, so this year for school, I wrote for my last project for English for 11th grade. I wrote a report on Louisa May Alcott and her life and her writing. And she had an awesome life. And I love Little Women. Book 1. I'll read the back cover for you if you don't know the story. Pretty Meg, Tomboy Joe, Shy Beth, Vain Amy, the 4 March sisters, are just as different as sisters can be, but more devoted and loyal sisters you'll ever find. For though the March girls fight, tease, nag, and scold, as all sisters do, they do it with the knowledge that nothing is as precious as a sister's love. Discover the magic of family in the first part of this classic novel cherished by young girls everywhere. So, this is a book about 4 sisters who are living during the Civil War. And it's about family and love and forgiveness. And I really love this book. My mother introduced me to the Little Women series. And this one is Little Men. It's the next one in the series. It's where they have a school, and Joe's one of the teachers, and her nieces and nephews also go to the school. And this is the last one. This is where all of her students are grown up, and they don't go to the school anymore. So, yeah, this is a really awesome series. If you love reading about stories about family and the Civil War, highly recommend these books. Okay, let's see. Okay, so I read The Secret Garden twice this year. One, I read it in this one, which is like a kid's version. It's not like the original story, so it doesn't have like the Yorkshire or in it, because some of the kids in the story are Yorkshire, or they talk a different way. But I read it in this one too, which is Frances Hodgson Burnett's complete books. And I read The Secret Garden, The Little Princess, and Little Lord Fauntleroy. I cannot pronounce that. But this is just a whole book of all of her stories. And I've read Little Women and Secret Garden, A Little Princess and Secret Garden so many times throughout my childhood, but I never read her third book. I can't talk tonight. I never read her third book, but I thought it was amazing. Well written. She was such a great author. And I highly recommend this book. Well, actually, it's 3 books. So, highly recommend all of these. Okay, okay. Let's go for this pile. Okay, so this is Mandy by Julie Andrews, the actress. And I'll read you the back cover. 10-year-old Mandy feels lost among the 30 children who live in the old stone orphanage. She dreams of a home of her own, a place where she belongs. When Mandy climbs over the high orphanage wall to explore the outside, she is lucky enough to find a teeny deserted cottage hidden in the forest. With a few borrowed items, the cottage becomes a refuge. To guard her secret, Mandy even lies, but when she falls terribly sick, no one knows where she is. No one, that is, except for a special admirer she didn't know she had. Julie Andrews Edwards is also the author of The Really Great Wagadoodles. She has starred in many films and Broadway stage productions, including The Sound of Music and Mary Poppins. Okay, so I got this at a thrift store, and it is literally falling apart. So I'm gonna put this down. Most of my books are actually from thrift stores or discount bookstores. So, okay. So, my friends at writing camp that I went to in June suggested this book to me, the Percy Jackson series, and oh my goodness, this is such a great series. So I'm dyslexic, so I really connected with the characters in this book. So I'm gonna read the back cover of it. Percy Jackson is about to be kicked out of boarding school again. And that's the least of his troubles. Lately, mythological monsters and the gods of Mount Olympus seem to be walking straight out of the pages of Percy's Greek mythology textbook and into his life. And worse, he's angered a few of them. Zeus's mastered lightning bolt has been stolen, and Percy is the prime suspect. Now Percy and his friends have just 10 days to find and return Zeus's stolen property and bring peace to the warring Mount Olympus. But to succeed in this quest, Percy will have to do more than catch the true thief. He must come to terms with the father who abandoned him, solve the riddle of the oracle, which warns him of betrayal by a friend, and an unraveling treachery more powerful than the gods themselves. So, if you love Greek mythology, this is an amazing book for you. So this is Beverly Lewis's Only Girls. It's a series, and this is volume 1. I have volume 2. I just haven't read the full thing, and I will read to you the back cover. Jenna, Livy, Heather, and Amanda strive for the best in their respective sports: gymnastics, figure skating, ice dancing, and downhill skiing. Their ultimate goal, the Olympics. As each girl struggles with life challenges and rejoices with each triumph and the encouragement of the other, the Only Girls Club members and their faith in God give the girls the moral support needed to push their limits and learn important lessons. When Livy's family moves across the country and away from her amazing ice skating coach, Livy is sure her Olympic dreams are shattered. Only the best. Jenna lives and breathes gymnastics, but now she must decide to compete in the all-important meet and the Olympic training center, or go with her parents to meet her adopted brother. A perfect match. Heather wants to end her couples dancing career to skate solo, but when she doesn't get her family's support, she wonders if she really is going for what she wants or is just being selfish. Reach for the stars. Amanda is focused on her ski competition, but when her mom needs help, Amanda has to put her dreams of winning the Dress Hill Downhill Classic on ice. Hey, baby. So, great book. Beverly Lewis is one of my favorite authors, so honestly, I would read any of her books. So, if you love sports, arts, and Christian literature, this is a great book. Okay, on writing well. So, my grandparents gave me this for Christmas of 2021, and it is an awesome book. There is a little bit of language and some not so kid appropriate things in it, so I would recommend this to you if you are like a teenager or an adult. But this is a good book if you want to learn to be a writer. Even if this is mainly for nonfiction writing. Even if you don't want to be a nonfiction writer, this has really good advice. No matter what you want to write. So, Highly recommend this book. Okay, so I'm gonna the Dear America series, So Far From Home, Diary of Mary Driscoll, An Irish Mole Girl. Friday, July 9th, 1847. Miss Albut's house is so near the mills we were able to walk there. I never dreamed earthly hands could make anything that big. It looked to me like all the people in Ireland could fit inside. 'Twas like a fortress. There were smokestacks blowing their blackness heavenwards, darkening the sky. I felt cold, although the day was warm. A shudder rippled through my body. There's nothing to be afraid of, I told myself. What could be worse than what I've already seen back in Ireland? I had to go through those gates. So, this book is about a girl that comes from Ireland to work in the mills. Yes, Starlight, she's stealing the show. And I really love the Dear America books because me and my sister, we used to read them together, and if it's a Dear America book, I will immediately pick it up. So if you love historical fiction, this one is really good. And here's another America Diaries, Nell Dule. She also immigrates from Ireland. Here, I'll read the back. Still abroad, the Astora. February 12th, 1904. I want to get off this cold, gray ocean before I have ever wanted anything. Oh, I just wish we could arrive and be off the smelly ship. The ship is nearing Ellis Island. Arriving in America will mean seeing her father again after 2 long years, but Nell Dule is miserable. The journey has been awful. The food is stale and the ship is filthy. Nell's mother and baby sister have been seasick off and on, and her grandmother's forgetfulness and confusion have gotten worse. And now Nellie is worried about the rumors saying America's inspectors at Ellis Island can send them a firm elderly people back. If Granny Rose is sent back home to Ireland, Nell will have to go too, to take care of her. Has Nell endured the Ardous Ocean? I'm probably mispronouncing this wrong. Crossing only to end up being separated from her family. Yeah, this book is so good. I almost cried because the grandmother, they never say so in the book, but I'm pretty sure the grandmother has either dementia or Alzheimer's, and I know people who've had it, and it's really sad. I had to see them go through it and be confused, so this book is really good. I highly recommend it. Okay, Keeper of the Lost Cities. Okay, shout out to my friend Veronica from Writing Camp for suggesting these books. This is amazing. My sister gave me, the first 5 books of the series, and oh my gosh, these books are so good. 12-year-old Sophie Foster has a secret. She's a telepath and has a unique ability to hear the thoughts of everyone around her, something she's never known how to explain, and has made her an outcast, even in her own family. But everything changes the day she meets Fitz, a mysterious boy who appears out of nowhere and also reads minds. She discovers there's somewhere he does belong, and staying where she is will put her in grave danger. In the blink of an eye, Sophie is forced to leave behind everything and start a new life in a place that is vastly different from her own. Sophie has new roles and skills to learn, and not everyone is thrilled with her homecoming. There are secrets buried deep in Sophie's memory that other people desperately want, would even kill for. And if you love fantasy, this is a really good book for you. Okay, this is honestly the worst book I have read this year. There. Honestly, I would not recommend this book to anyone. The beginning and middle were good. The ending was horrible. But this is just my opinion. And okay, I'll read the what's it about. Beautiful, intelligent, and an heiress to wealth beyond imagining, Lucinda de Calabro v. Benedis, I can't pronounce that, knew that the world judged her the most fortunate of young women. Why then should she be afraid? Was she not the ruler of the fabled Isla el Oro, with its limited gold mines? Freed from the cruel power of her mad father, sure she would be able to begin and to lead the life she had only dreamed of. Yet, surrounded by admirers and servants, Lucinda sensed that she was alone, as such a captive in the great stone castle as she has been while her father lived. When her fiancé, the Spanish nobleman Porfirio Blanco, became with his empress mother, to stay at the castle, Lucinda hoped that she had found someone who might help her escape from the guild person, but instead the sense of peril deepened. Now her life, and Porfiro's too, was threatened by mysterious accidents. Okay, so the beginning and middle of the book were good. The ending was not so good. Yeah, I did not really like this book, so we're gonna not talk about that book anymore. Okay, this is my first Jane Austen book that I have ever read. I read Pride and Prejudice. It was so good. Okay, she lived in a different era than the writer Jane Austen lived in a different era than us, so it can be confusing to read it, but I thought it was really good. I highly recommend this book if you like any Jane Austen novel. This one's good. This is the best one. Okay, oh, I finally read The Hobbit. My friends from writing camp all are big Lord of the Rings fans, so they all were like, you gotta read The Hobbit. So when Thorin Oakenshield and his band of dwarves embark upon a dangerous quest to reclaim their home from the ruthless dragon Smaug, Gandalf the wizard suggests an unlikely accomplice, Bilbo Baggins, an unassuming hobbit dwelling in peaceful Hobbiton. As they journey from the wonders of Rivendell to the terrors of Mirkwood and beyond, Bilbo discovers within himself unexpected qualities of courage and cunning. And with each step, a newfound love of adventure propels him toward his great destiny, a destiny that waits the dark caverns beneath the misty mountains where the twisted creature known as Gollum jealously guards a precious magic ring. So, honestly, this was such a good book. I loved the poetry in it, and that was like my favorite part of the book because I love to write poetry, and I was like, oh my gosh, this poetry is amazing. So, highly recommend. Okay, let's see. Starlight, hello. Come here. You're beautiful. Alright. Okay, so Clementine. Clementine books are amazing. It's about a little girl who lives in Boston in an apartment where her dad's the manager of the apartment, and she is such a silly little girl that doodles on her arms, and that's an artist, and The book doesn't say it, but I think she has ADHD because the way that she acts in the book. But the book never says anything of it. But I really loved her in this story, and she's so funny. My sister used to read these to me, and I would laugh so hard when I read these books, and it always puts a smile on my face. So, good book to read. Okay, this is Heidi. This is a classic book. Yeah, so I talked about this book in my books that inspired my writing, and this book totally inspired my writing. I had to read it for school, and my teacher read it to me at story time. Yeah, so it's about a little girl who lives in the mountains with her uncle, and she's so silly in this novel, and honestly, she's just a little mini-me that loves nature and is so goofy. So, good book to read. Okay, 8 Cousins by Louisa May Alcott. So this story is about a girl who goes to live with her uncles and meets her cousins, and they become like instant best friends. And if you love Little Women, this is also a really good book. Highly recommend. Alright, okay. So I started this tradition to read Charles Dickens for before Christmas. So Ebenezer Scrooge has no use for Christmas. He considers it a waste of money and time. Scrooge hates Christmas cheer, warm wishes, and spirit of giving. He cares for no one, and no one cares for him, until one night, when Ebenezer Scrooge is visited by the ghost of Christmas. So, this is my first Charles Dickens novel I've ever read. I haven't read any other Charles Dickens novels, but I will say this, it can be a little dull and boring. It is a good book, but it can be a little dull, I will admit. Okay, In His Steps. I had to read this for school, and it was so good. It's about a church that decides to take on a few of the members and the pastor decide to take on a challenge, and to live by the question, what would Jesus do? That's where I think this is where that question really came from. And it was such a good book. I related to the singer in the novel. I can't remember her name, but if you love Christian fiction, and this is a great book. Okay. I think this is one of the only nonfiction novels besides the Writing Wall, this is the one nonfiction novel I have. It is Little House in the Big Woods. I read Little House on the Prairie, but I could not find that book. Oh, I've looked everywhere. I can't find it. But this is Laura Ingalls Wilder autobiography. And what I love about this is autobiography. It's written in third person, and I really like that. And I always kind of wanted to write a story kind of like her. There are so many stories I want to write kind of like a person like she has also inspired a lot of my writing. Okay, last book. The Family Under the Bridge. There once was an old man named Armand who lived under a bridge in Paris. Everything he owned could be pushed around in an old baby buggy without a hood. It was necessary for him to move from place to place. Armand lived his solitary, carefree life. Children, he said, were like starlings, and one was better off without him. But the children who lived under the bridge knew a true friend when they saw one, even if that friend was a little bit grumpy to begin with. and it did not take Armand long to see that he had gotten himself a ready-made family, one he loved with all his heart, and one he would have to find a better home for than a bridge. This book has the same illustrator as Little House in the Big Woods, and it has such cute illustrations. Let me see what I can find. So that is all the books. Well, not every single book, but that's pretty much all the books that I have read in 2022. I hope you liked that video. Make sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and comment the books that you have read this year. And give me a couple of books recommendations down there. Okay, have a great day.